Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of AusTableTalk. My name's Luke. I'm here at the table with Emerson, Lily, and Steve is over there off camera producing for us. Thank you, Steve. Now, this feels all very weird saying this because we only just said all of this, but we weren't actually recording, so we have to go through this again.
Just a quick restart.
Yeah. To be fair, we only got like a couple of minutes in, right? Like, so it's not like we finished the episode because that had once. I thought I had everything set up, but I didn't change the input on the computer, and it just recorded with the onboard microphone on the laptop, like over there at the corner of the room.
No.
And so we're sitting here talking into mics for an hour, and the recording was like,
no.
echo. It was
Is that what happened with our alien episode? What was that? Because you could barely
something
hear
happened.
us in
Yeah,
the
something. I
aliens
don't
episode.
remember what happened.
You could hear
It was
it well
the
enough,
aliens
though.
got us. That's what happened.
That's what it was. It's still a very good episode.
Yes, it actually was. It was good. So,
Anyway.
the question that I had for you guys: what's the funniest thing that happened to you this week?
Yeah, and I've
Right.
realized that you asked this question because you want to share this story.
Actually, yes. So, but anyway, that's irrelevant. So so for me, it's an easy memory because it was last night. Someone asked to borrow the studio space. They were using it. It was nighttime, and so we were up there. We were having dinner, sitting around the table eating pizza, and I had totally forgot that these people were down here in the studio, and I was just doing nighttime routine thingies, and the man came to the window and said, thanks for the loan of the studio or whatever. I don't even remember what he said, but he said something and it was loud and it was right next to my head. And so collectively, all of us at the table freaked out. And I feel like in a movie, it would be one of those moments in slow motion where you see even the dog runs away. It's one of those. Anyway, it was.
Everyone's in the air for a moment.
Yes. It was an out of body experience. And that punctuated then by him apologizing profusely. He felt so bad. He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And the others that were with him, everyone was laughing. It was just something else altogether.
Sneaking up on people like that.
I know.
Having their dinner.
Yeah, that was something else. So yes, that was easily the funniest thing that happened to me this week.
I think a funny part of that was that I looked out the window trying to see who the heck was talking to us.
Yep.
And the only thing that I could make out was this white part of his shirt, which I thought was his face the entire time. Until he said goodbye, and then I looked up and realized his face was staring at me from way higher than the shirt. I was like, that is even more terrifying. Please leave.
You're
My
a
soul
giant.
is not Yeah, I was like, what is happening right now?
So was that also the funniest thing that happened to you this week?
Well, you were there, so we could probably let you off with that if you didn't have something else.
Later that night.
Okay.
Later that night, my soul finally
A
came
few
back
moments
into
later.
my body. It finally came back, and I was like, I'm whole again. And I was washing my face. Don't ask me why. And I walked into my bedroom. I think I was clicking next on my YouTube that I was listening to, and Uncle Luke has a habit of spawning. Like he just comes out of nowhere.
Disappears.
Like
Yeah, my
he's
wife
like
does that.
sneaks
Yeah.
and then you turn around and he's there and he's like, how? And I just see him go across my doorway as I turn, and I'm like, oh hell no. I was like,
You yelled out.
so no, yeah, I lowercase screams like and then and he poked his head back around the door with a very concerned face on, like, are you okay? I was like, can you go to bed? Like, why are you here?
It never even occurred to me that it was me that scared you. And so she just made this noise and you clapped. She made the scream. And I'm like, oh, is she okay? And so I come back. I'm like, you good?
I've just combusted in the
And then I realized it was me. And then I immediately walked through the door and went.
So bad.
And I immediately went and told Sarah because it was so funny. So like,
My nerves were shot the whole night.
There you go.
Anyway,
I don't know. I can top either of those, so I'm just not gonna.
just not going to do it. Not going to do it. Steve, you're off screen. But did you have any funnies from your week?
No, I didn't have any funny stories.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
I
we'll
did
let
have
you
a
off.
fright.
Then.
I did have a fright this week as
fright?
well, since we're telling fright stories.
Okay, go for it.
My wife and I were trying to fix something outside. I just bought these little torches that mount to your hat for the camping trip that we're going on soon. And we have this bench that comes out of the wall, and I was under the bench, and this bench is clutter bench, right? This is the bench where we just pile stuff on.
Mhm.
and I don't know what's underneath all of this. It's just piled onto this bench. And I'm under the bench, and Jasmine stands up, and the shadow from the bench where I was sitting really made it look like the whole bench was falling on top of me. And I leaped out from under that bench so fast. But it was just a shadow. So there's my fright story for you.
Meanwhile, Jasmine's watching you like what is
just
wrong with you?
I was like, I thought that all of that junk was about to come crashing down on me and crush me.
Oh, very good. Cool. Well, anyway, let's jump into reels and feels. So I have a few to share. A couple are interesting. One is just unhinged. I hope you guys are cool with that. So, all right, let's start with this one that we got here. So this one is a carousel, not necessarily a reel. Obscure Bible fact that will blow your mind. There's some hyperbole there, but it's interesting nonetheless. Seemingly mundane, boring verse in Nehemiah chapter 12 says this: At the fountain gate they went up straight before by the stairs of the city of David at the ascent of the wall above the house of David to the water gate on the east. Until 2005, David's palace in ancient Jerusalem had not been discovered. That year, an archaeologist, Eliat Mazar, read that verse that was written 2,400 years ago in the Bible. She used the specificity of the details to guess where David's palace would have been, started digging and found it exactly where Nehemiah 12:37 indicates, 2,400 years pinpoint accuracy. The Bible really happened, y'all. That just sounds so weird coming out of me. The real Jesus died on a real cross for the real you. And so, obviously,
Bible really happened, y'all.
Y'all? Yeah, it just doesn't. This is so not my language. But yes, I really love things like this because a lot of people, to be honest, up until 40, 50 years ago, there were a lot of things that common knowledge or mainstream archaeologists would discredit the Bible for and say, we've never found that. It doesn't exist, And over the years, more and more things keep getting found that are in harmony with the Bible record of where things were, how they happened, etc.
Cool.
So I just love that. The next one that we have, which one is the next one in our list here?
This is the unhinged
This
one?
is the unhinged one. Okay, so I eat a plant-based diet, but I have spent a lot of my life not eating a plant-based diet, and so I recognize how dangerous chicken can be, and this is a reel for all you people who are terrified of chicken. I love that it just gets progressively more and more and more sudsy.
Cool.
So I don't know who this.
Looked at it and had to have a watch.
I don't even know who this guy is, and I don't know what.
Expressions.
Yeah, I don't know what possesses you to sit there and think, you know what, I should make a video about this. But he did.
The internet is a crazy place.
It truly is.
What a time to be alive.
Anyway, so this one is actually my other interesting ones. So understanding English. And by the way, reason I think this is interesting is because we often get hung up on what translation of the Bible people read, how we articulate it, and I think this is a great explanation of why we should be a lot less concerned with whether I'm reading NLT or NIV, and a lot more interested in the
Message.
The message. Yeah, precisely. So anyway, go.
Or could you travel back in time and still understand English? Well, let's find out. I'm going to read to you a passage, but each line is going to use a progressively older and older translation. See how long it takes before you can't understand anymore. Now, the whole world had one language and a common speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. Then they said one to another, Come, let us make bricks and burn them well. They having brick instead of stone, as they had mortar for clay. And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven. And let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. But the Lord came down to say the city and tower, which the sons of men builded. And the Lord said, Say, the people is one, and have one tongue among them all. And this have they begun to do, and will not leave of from all that they have purposed to do. Therefore come ye, go we doon and shande away their tongue of him, that each man hear not the voice of his neighbor. Swa vrichten hier tådalde of farstoa, jonde alle elvan, and for tham man nemte thastoa Babel, for tham thar waron tådalde alle spracha. So let me know how long it took before you stopped understanding. My guess is that it started getting pretty difficult around 500 years ago, which should make sense. That's roughly when the cutoff is between modern and Middle English. And I would guess that 1,000 years ago, it was pretty much incomprehensible, which should also make sense. That's roughly the cutoff between Middle and Old English. How far could you travel?
This is very interesting.
Isn't that
I
fascinating?
was actually thinking about this concept today because I watched this when it first came out, like 14 weeks ago, according to the comments. Anyway, I recently started listening to the audio version of the book Dune.
Yeah.
And in the book, and I don't know when.
Is it
I
good?
could be wrong. It is really good.
Okay, I have heard of it, but I've never actually gotten into the story.
Yeah, it's enjoyable. But in the book, it's apparently set a long way in the future, maybe 1,000 years or so or more. I don't know. The Dune fanatics will know.
Mm-hmm.
But they quote the Bible in there,
Okay.
and I'm like, yeah, okay. But I'm like, but technically that would be like super old English. That would be completely
unintelligible to them.
unpronounceable
Yeah.
by now if this is accurate. And I'm like, but that's silly because everything that they're saying would be a completely different language if this was that far in the future.
Mm.
Because English language and all the other languages will continue to progress, and 100, 200 years from now, what we're speaking right now is Old English.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm just really impressed that he said all that without stuttering.
Yeah, he nailed it. Hey.
yeah,
he did a very
he
good
cooked,
job.
so that's awesome.
I have no idea who this guy is, but it wouldn't surprise me if he actually is a linguist or something like
So-
that.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
gotta be.
yeah, you'd think he'd have to be.
Linguistics. Linguini. My bad.
Well, you know why it's called that, right?
Wait, what is linguine? Isn't that a food?
Pasta.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it is a pasta.
Being so off track right now.
Why is it? Why?
Because it looks like little tongues.
Don't do that to me.
Yeah,
That's
Can't be
disgusting.
true. Is that true?
That's
Yeah.
not,
There you
no.
go. All right. I
From
believe
where?
you. Luke? I
Italian.
believe
Instagram. Where did you learn that?
Oh, I don't know. I've known that like forever. Like I
you.
Italian.
Since before the internet?
He's Googling it.
Here we go.
You know what? Perfect use of.
Little
can't
tongues.
read.
There you go.
Little
He's
tongues.
right. Well,
Oh,
but
beautiful.
according
You know,
to my
I think
logic,
I've,
that's
I think
still
I've actually heard of
based
that.
on internet.
The hella long they're looking at the
trust the
photo.
internet.
So
Yeah.
Is that actually linguine though?
I don't know. Let's image this. Hopefully it's safe. Boom. It looks more like spaghetti,
Yeah.
but like flat spaghetti.
But that would be fettuccine, right?
But-
So what's the difference between fettuccine and linguine?
Many different kinds of long pasta.
But why does that look like little tongues? Maybe if you're
Uh,
an anteater.
Yeah.
Oh yes, there we go.
Fettuccine versus linguine. Here we go. Go back to all and here we go.
We're
Pitch
going to
guide.
upset so many Italians right now.
Yeah, we're very sorry. Sort of.
The pasta glossary. My bad.
That's right.
There's no. Oh no, there is.
Okay.
Linguine.
I'm sorry, Italians, but those are the same.
It's like half the width of fettuccine.
Right.
Yeah, that's not the same. Fettuccine is a beautiful. You can
It's just
bite.
fat spaghetti.
Linguine is just flat.
Yeah. So it's flat spaghetti
Fettuccine
basically, but
above all.
fettuccine is wide. Yeah.
And then vermicelli.
Vermicelli, yeah.
Is like the
That's
thin.
that's the thin stuff.
No, lasagna's the fat one. All
Lasagna.
the rest are all the same.
Okay, you are so getting Italian
I think
bomb
the
threat.
tag-
So Italian hell.
Oh, I can't
Yeah.
say any of these
They're
names.
different colors. I'm sure they taste different, but as far as like the shape, it's going to feel the same in your mouth.
Oh no, that's the thing that's different. They taste the same.
Yeah, I was about to say, isn't that the very opposite of what we're talking about here?
If they taste the same and feel the same,
Okay, let's stop
I'm
this
sure
before
that's
he
not
digs a
true.
hole any deeper for
I'm sure
himself.
that's
Moving
not
on
true.
swiftly.
Moving on
Sorry.
swiftly. All right, cool. So the title for our discussion tonight is stupid.
he started speaking Old English. All right, I'll take over. The title for today
Talking in tongues here,
is-
people.
What we came up with was "Is busy a drug?"
Thank
Right?
you.
So who came up with this one? Do we remember?
I actually think it was me.
Yep.
But I wrote it probably like 5, 6, 7 years ago, probably, and it just kind of existed on the list here.
Bounced around. and-
Steve mentioned earlier, I think we've talked about this before. I said, yeah, so I think we have talked about the idea, but it's something that has like come up in another episode, but it's not something that we've given a treatment to.
I
for
remember
myself.
we covered this on Satan's Strategy Part 1 with Dave. We talked about busyness being one of the strategies of Satan that he uses to distract us from our walk with Jesus and the Holy Spirit's leading and whatnot.
Yeah. So I think one of the interesting things, and I think the reason that I came to this idea of likening it to a drug is that I don't know about you guys, but for me, busyness is a really hard trend to get off of. I find it quite easy to be busy, but I feel, what's the right word here? I feel like I am doing a bad thing if I'm not busy. Like I feel like I am morally compromised if I am not busy. And okay, let me just stop there for a second. Is that crazy? Like, do you guys ever feel that, or are you like totally cool with not being busy?
No, I think it depends on what you're busy doing.
Yeah, that's fair.
If you're busy doing the Lord's work,
yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Would you call yourself a workaholic?
I find it when I stop, I can't start, and when I start, I can't stop.
Yeah, I get like that too, but I feel like it happens a lot more frequently for me than most people. Like, I'll be like a month where I'm like, "Whoa, get everything done," and then a month where I'm like, no motivation to do anything.
For me, it's fairly well on the weekly cycle.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
but by the time I get to Friday, I'm like, I am not ready to stop. I can't stop. I did not get enough done this week. I must do more.
Yep.
And I stop, and it's really hard to stop at first. But then by the time I get to the other end of the weekend, I'm like, I just think I'll just, find a hammock and a tall fun drink and just sit on a beach somewhere for the rest of my life, and I'll be very happy.
Yep.
Which I know would only last. By the way, I've tried this. Not the hammock on the beach part, but the whole I'm going to have like an extended holiday thing. I lasted 3 weeks, and my brain just about imploded. Like I just could not stop for longer than that.
Yeah, I'm the same. I can do a holiday, but I can only do a busy holiday.
Yeah.
Like I'm about to take a month off, but we're going to the Cape, which is like a pretty extreme holiday.
Yeah.
Like you're driving off road all the time, set up camp, pack up camp, do your business in the bush, that kind of like a.
Yep.
It's a busy holiday.
It's proper camping.
Yeah, that's right. And with a group of people as well, it's like, are we all on board to do this thing? Let's get together and see what we're going to do today and blah, blah, blah. So that's the type of holiday that I can function well in.
So I want to draw a line between two things.
Yep.
Busy is a state of activity, right? Busy is just doing stuff and not having downtime and being, go.
Yep.
Productivity is achieving things. And I think we get the two mixed up. I think what I actually want in my life is more productivity, but what I substitute for productivity is busyness.
I see the angle
That's
that you were.
procrastination.
Yeah.
I see where you were taking this discussion.
You can take it somewhere else. This is just where the idea came from.
No. Love. Like, that's definitely a part of it. I agree with everything you just said.
No, well, I think that is procrastination. Like, for me, I'll like have a job that I need to do and I can't get it done, but then Jasmine will go, do the dishes, you got to do the dishes. And I'm like, okay, all right, but I got to do this job first. And then I'll finally get it done, because if I'm not doing that, well, then I'm doing the dishes. So I'm being productive, but it's actually procrastination because I'm procrastinating doing the dishes, right?
Yeah.
So, I often have that problem where I substitute something less important for something.
Other way around?
I
Something more important for something
substitute
less important?
Yeah, exactly what you said.
Yep.
And end up getting stuff done, but not the right things, not the more important things.
Yep.
I would argue that there isn't anything too wrong with that as long as you get it done.
Yeah, and
Because I need to
haven't really
compromise.
fought that too much because I do still get stuff done. And it's not the best system, but it's a system that works.
Exactly. Like, especially me with my ADHD, I need something like that where it's like, okay, like, for example, I have a group of very important things I need to do, a group of medium and a group of not that much. And if I have all these things and they're all urgent, then I allow myself the flexibility of jumping in between them until one locks in. And then I go, and then I go, okay, all of these are kind of like certain percentage done. Let's jump around again until one of them clicks, and then that's the only way I'm going to get it done.
We're all here going, yes, exactly. Because this is 3 ADHDs talking about business.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like Steve needs to say something because the rest of the world is not being represented. Steve, do you have like that experience? Like, can you relate to that? Or for you, is it all just, no, I've just prioritized things and I just work on the important one? Like, is that?
Yep.
Oh, it must be
Damn,
nice.
I wish, man.
Wow.
Well, it depends. I do put things. If things don't have to be done, then I will do things that I'd rather be doing. Very much the same as you guys. But at work, it's just like, here's my pile of jobs, and you just work through them. And like sometimes you throw one in that you like because you're sick of doing the ones that you're hating on. But
Yep.
For the most part, it's just
I actually just throwing it out there, and I'm not devaluing it in any way because I really do think that you are that kind of person. I've seen that in you, but at the same time, the kind of work that you have is a very linear sort of a thing, right?
Yeah,
There's a stack of jobs,
yeah.
and the thing that you don't want is the
Parts
stack
of-
to get like too big, and so you want to finish them off, and so you just start here and you go down through that list, right? Yeah. For like for me, where I feel like that comes through in my work is that, like, because in startup land, everything is on fire all the time. There's no such thing as, well, this is more important than that. It's like, well, I can choose to, do this really, really important thing. And if I don't do that, the business is in jeopardy. Or I could choose to do this really, really important thing. And if I don't do that, the business is also in jeopardy. So which one has a longer timeline that I can, choose which one to put out
Timeline,
first,
yeah.
right? So yeah, I try a bunch of different stuff. But like to think about this through the spiritual lens, something I realized, I guess, and I guess I know it now. And so it's kind of like the equivalent of, now I know about it and I'm trying to fix it. And so, yeah, I don't necessarily fall to it every single time, but I used to have busyness as a badge of honor. Like, this is identity, right? This is who I am. I am the guy that gets things done. And so therefore that's the persona. If I'm not getting something done, then I'm actually being someone who's not me.
Yep.
Right. And I heard this guy. He's he's in business. He's not even a Christian, but it really stood out to me. One of the things that he said once, that he's like very successful, works very hard, but he goes way out of his way to make sure that there's like nothing in his calendar. He makes his calendar like he does as little as possible. And from his perspective, he's like, well, I only want to reserve my energy for the things that are truly unique to me and that will make a massive difference. And if I'm doing 500 things, I can't bring my best to those activities. And so like he has just like cut his life down and down and down and down until the only things left on his to-do list are a few things that he's going to do and be the very best in the world at. And I was like, man, if I was to look at that through the spiritual lens, like I want to move in that direction. I don't know that I'll be that. I don't think that's me. But to move in that direction would be a super healthy thing, to be asking, what are those few things that I could do? And the rest of it, if they don't happen, the world doesn't end, right? And I think the reason that was impactful to me was that I compared that to Jesus. And Jesus was always busy. Like that, yes, they were always traveling, teaching, preaching, healing. And I'd say some days, like he pulled massive days. But he always had slack in his calendar. When the woman with the issue of blood met him when he's on his way to heal somebody else, he had time for her because he had his priorities straight, right?
Yeah.
And I think,
But
sorry,
he had the ability to do that because he was on the way to heal the little girl who was dying.
yes,
He spent time talking to the woman with the issue of blood. The time that he spent meant that that little girl died.
Mm.
But he was like, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Went and raised her back to life.
Yeah. That's right.
So-
We don't always have that ability.
Well, that's not really
Yeah.
a great example, but I get
Yeah.
where you're coming from.
No. I'm not saying we have the ability to, but generally, I think there's some good examples in scripture. There's some good commentary examples as well of that Jesus was generally unhurried
Yeah.
in that he was purposeful.
Yep.
And I think that that level of intentionality, I think, is the antidote to busyness, pathological busyness.
Yeah.
That's a label.
And
I'll put on
he was productive enough.
it.
Like he got done what he had to get done,
Yeah.
and he got it done
Yeah.
beautifully.
And you know, the trick to that was the fact that he followed God, right?
Mm.
Like his guidance, because it's so easy to get anxious about it when you don't follow, like God's telling you, all right, now we're going to do these things. Like that's the only way I can do my life these days.
Mm.
And now God's trying to teach me to look further than the day because I have the capacity to, because we're healing and we're
Yep.
feeling better about everything. And that's been a struggle because for the longest time I've been like, okay, I woke up, I'm out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want me to do? Like I've been on that kind of like day by day. So it's been a journey. But yeah, I think speaking to what you guys are talking about, Jesus, I want to look at it from the flip side of the coin to fully understand the picture.
Sure.
Like he had an amazing ability to know when to rest.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
he knew when to self-care. He knew when to sit down in the garden, tell everyone to shut up and stop talking to me and don't come near me unless it's really important, because I need time with God to reassess, like the meetings that you do at the start of every week, at the end of every week, to be like, okay, we didn't get these things done. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Okay, these things are on my heart. Like, let's talk about it. Like, I feel like our inability these days to put down the busy and do, like, be bored
Mm.
is like, without boredom, there's no creativity. There's
That's
no
true.
real rest.
Yes.
There's no real peace
And in the world that we live in now, it's like I haven't been bored
ever.
in years. No,
Since
I,
you had
I
a
was bored.
smartphone.
I was bored when I was a kid all
Yeah.
the time. But
Yeah.
since I had a smartphone and the
Yes,
internet, I haven't
exactly.
been bored in years.
Mm-hmm.
You just get different bored.
Problem.
You mean like
Like I get hella bored.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I can keep my brain stimulated.
Like, bored with what you're doing.
Yeah, well, it's like
Oh, yeah, but if
I've
I-
had the week off, and you're like, you do some stuff you like doing, and then you're like, okay, I've kind of had enough of that. Now what do I do? Or it's like I'm bored doing stuff that I like doing.
Yeah.
I get that.
I think that's almost, it's like,
Doesn't happen very often for me, I don't think.
for me, I would define that as like a restless thing of like,
Restlessness.
you haven't found what you want to do yet. Like, you haven't found the thing that unwinds you properly. Like, because if your goal is rest, then doing that. Like, for me, that's how I see it, because once I find that thing, I can sit down and be bored.
Mm-hmm.
Often
Yeah,
I
know.
don't.
For me, it's like I've gotten everything done that I need to. Oh, yes. I
Yeah.
can relax and doom scroll the internet.
Yeah.
You know? It's not
you know,
great, but it's true.
on that, like, oh, sorry, you
Yeah.
go.
No, I want to bring this conversation to a different place
Mm-hmm.
because I
Wait, can
think
I
that
quickly, just before you do that?
yes, if you got something else, go. But I've got some things I want to talk about.
Okay. Well, I was going to finish off that whole boredom
Yes.
talk
Yes.
with, that is like, it's important for us to recognize the lens that we're looking through as people who live in a Western society, because different cultures have completely different understandings, like relationships with busyness, labor, boredom, like Italy, completely different. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's just an example.
When I was in the Solomon Islands, they get up early, they would work the gardens, and then the sun would come up over the mountain, and everyone would disappear into their houses. They'd fan themselves, they'd chat with each other, they'd
Yeah.
joke around.
Yep.
Maybe they'd walk over to someone else's house at the most, but they're staring out of the heat.
Mm-hmm.
Then the sun would go down behind the mountain, they'd be into it.
Yeah.
And they'd be busy in the garden, making dinner, blah, blah, blah,
Yep.
and then to bed.
Yep.
You know? I was
there's-
like, this is the best life
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, I think we don't realize with this Western mentality of success, like success being tied to busy, right? Because we need, like, all the things that we keep saying, we need to be this amount of busy. We need to be this amount of productive in order to allow ourselves to rest. Whereas
Yeah.
you go somewhere else and it's like, no, in order for me to be busy, I need to rest.
Yeah.
It's like, have you heard the story about the fisherman and the businessman?
Yeah, that's such a great story.
Yeah,
I love it.
So there's a fisherman and a businessman, and the fisherman comes out of his boat and he's got a bunch of fish that he's caught, and he sells it to the market guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the businessman goes, "Wow, that's great! You caught all those fish. You know, you just made all this money. That's great. What are you going to do now?" He goes, "Well, you know, it's 12 in the morning. I'm going to go home. I'm going to hang out with my family. I'm going to play the drums. I'm going to hang on my hammock and relax." And the businessman goes, "But you could go back out right now and catch more fish and come back here." And he goes, "Well, why would I want to do that?" He says, "Well, because then you could sell those fish and you'd have more money. You could hire someone and you could hire him to fish for you as well. And then you could both spend the day fishing, and you could sell lots of fish and have more money to buy a bigger boat, and you could catch more fish, and you could hire out many boats and you could sell them to foreign countries." Well, why would I want to do that? Well, because then you can use all your money to buy a nice place, and you can go and you can relax and you can sit with your family and play the drums and and it's sort of like, okay, well,
But that's what I do
why?
now.
Yeah.
Why would I do all that work just to get back to the same place where I am right now?
That's
you
the
know?
thing. Like, we sacrifice in Western society, we sacrifice so much of our life. Like, the kids are grown up. I'm now old with an old body that doesn't feel great. And I got a whole heap of money, but so what? Like, so, and sometimes it's just the carrot
I've
on a
got
stick.
all
Like,
this
you never
money
get
to
there.
spend at the hospital keeping myself alive.
Yeah. And it's like, why don't we live and have at least a moment of boredom to create something unique? Like a moment of boredom to keep our community together.
Yeah.
Like, that's what Jesus was doing. He was connecting with people. And I see it all the time with like seeing certain pastors even connect with their communities. There's certain ones you can tell, the ones that have like this peace about them, they sit with people and there's like time stops within that bubble. Like, they're looking into their eyes and they're connected with that person. Then there's other people where it's like, hi. If I don't keep moving, I'm not going to say hi to every single person.
Yeah.
But then it's like, what's the value out
Quantity
of
over quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think relationship is a big, very important thing. And if you're working so hard that you can't build a relationship with the people that you love,
What's
you need
the
to slow
point?
down.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's
You need
the
to slow
point?
down. You can make less money and be happier.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
But just on that point, I want you
Yes.
to go there. But just around what we were just saying, Psalm 127 verse 2, he said, "It is vain for you to rise up early and to sit up late and to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he gives bread to for let me try this again. To eat the bread of sorrows, for so he gives his beloved sleep." So God gives rest to those that are his. And
that is so beautiful.
it's beautiful, right? And like, when I am running low on sleep, I look at that and I'm like, why aren't I taking that sleep? Because he's offering it to me, but I'm not taking it because
Like,
I think I know better what I should be doing. So
I'm just imagining him sitting there and being like, why are you robbing yourself of
yeah,
this gift?
when I gave it to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this thing that your body needs, and you're doing it because you feel like you need to in order to achieve a level of success that I never set down. That's man's laws. That's not mine. Like, that's not my measures of success.
That's an awesome verse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have another passage I want to go to, but I'm not going to go there before you go to where you want to go. So you go.
Okay, well, if it's related to that,
It is.
I'm gonna-
It is not. I'm going somewhere else as
Okay,
well. So
alright.
like, consider
let's
me
do it.
part 3 later on.
So, Exodus chapter 20, we all know it. Verse 11. No.
Yep.
Verse 9. Well, let's start at verse 8. All right.
Keep going. Back. 7, 6, 5.
All right, well, let's start at verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. All right. We know this commandment well, right?
Yep.
6 days you shall labor and do all your work. But the seventh is the Sabbath of the Lord your God, and in it you shall do no work. All right. We always focus on the seventh day, right? What's he say to do on the seventh day?
Rest.
What's he say to do on the 6 days?
Work.
He says 6 days, labor and do all your work, right? And we always forget that part of the commandment. We go, he says to rest on the seventh. We got to remember, which is the
True.
main point of the commandment. But he also does say that 6 days you are to be laboring and doing your work. So there is a precedent in the
For sure.
Bible for busyness. It's like keep busy, labor, do all
And
your
that's
work.
what he gave Adam work.
That's
to-
literally my next verse.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I'll just shut right up.
Genesis chapter 2, verse 15. Then the Lord God took man and put him in the Garden of Eden to tend and keep it. All right, so we're in a perfect universe. No sin, no suffering. The perfect world that God has created for us. And what's the first thing he gives to Adam to do?
Work.
Tend and work,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
Be busy.
Occupation.
Yeah, we're made to work. The perfect world that we often imagine is where we all sit back and we don't have to do anything. But when we get to heaven, what are we going to be doing?
Yeah.
We're going to be working.
But here's the thing: the work is like just like every single one of those commandments. You could call it work, like what we're meant to be doing. It makes us thrive. Do you know what I mean? It's things that we will enjoy doing. It's things that we were made to enjoy doing, so that it's like literally our dream life.
Yep.
Like, why would we want to sit down and do nothing when we could be doing all of those things, feeling productive, feeling that boost of, wow, I did so great, which I feel like all that is just like, as much as we hate to admit it, like we are all such people pleasers because in reality, why do we really care about these measures of success? Like, it's because we need to live up to them so that we can call ourselves productive and successful to other people.
Yeah.
But if we're living by God's message of success, which is what I would say about that, you know, we need to be working for 6 days a week. Like, I would bring in the conversation about like, that's God's levels of success and busyness and work. Like, that's not ours. So we need to be careful about not taking, which is not what I'm saying you're doing. This is just me chatting, about being like, okay, God said to do work. Now let's figure out what God meant by that. Do you know what I mean?
I think God's measure of success is measured on the 7th day and not on the 6th. I think if you are worshiping him and resting on the 7th day, you've succeeded in God's eyes.
Okay. I was going to...
More than, oh, he's done so good in all of his labors and his work.
I was thinking of like, you know how you succeed and you get something like
The reward.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but that's what
we're
I'm saying is
talking.
the bigger reward comes from what you do on the 7th day than what you do on the 6th.
I would argue that it's the connections that you make, it's the people that you reach, it's the like, because that's God is love, right? So I would argue that it's the journey of growing in Christ alongside other people and learning and discovering your world, because the world was created to be discovered, you know? So as much as rest at the end of the week is like a reward.
It's a celebration of that.
It's a celebration of that, but I would argue that, because this is the whole thing, like we're thinking constantly that work is a bad thing. It may be challenging, but if we're doing what God's wanting us to do, it's not going against our own boundaries and lines and stepping over and being like, okay, now you're working this many hours a week, you can't see your family.
Yeah.
Like, that's our thing of like, oh, that's what we need to do to be rich and successful. Whereas God is going, sometimes you're going to be broke. Sometimes you're going to be this, but you're going to be happy. You're going to be rich in family, in friends,
100%.
in
Well,
church
genuinely, I like Sabbath. I like the idea of Sabbath as like a rebellion against those negative qualities.
Oh, yeah.
Right. The Sabbath is a revolutionary idea, because like I know for me, as someone who does trend towards workaholic, I really, if Sabbath was not, from my reading and understanding of scripture, if it was not a requirement, if it was an optional extra, like I would probably be able to count the number of Sabbaths I've experienced on one hand, because I would just rationalize it and be like, I can't this week, and then that would just have me in a 7-day cycle of achieving and reward, and that puts you in a place of thinking that you actually bring something to the table, right? And ultimately, the gospel, the beauty of the gospel is the fact that it's not us; it's God that brings that. He's the one that saves us. It's His work that is worth something. And I think that without Sabbath, then it's very easy to forget that.
when you're talking about like God's work, right? Like we think of ministry first up, I think, right? All of us, like immediately you go, oh, God's work, ministry, reaching other people. And often we can get discouraged doing that because you plant seeds, you don't always see them bloom.
Yep.
But that's because we're, again, applying our own standards of work and how it works. Like, I do something, you give me the money, you know? Whereas God's standards is, okay, you do the work, you might not see it, but you're going to get the reward elsewhere. Like, he works in the grace. Do you know what I mean? It's not standard every time. I don't pray and I get a transactional thing. It's, you know, and you see that with, remember when Jesus and his disciples were eating from the fields on Sabbath?
Yep.
And the Pharisees jumped on them and went, hey, you're not allowed to be doing that because of the rules and ideas that they had about the day of rest, you know? And Jesus is saying, okay, but in our circumstance and also in what God first purposed Sabbath to be, there's nothing wrong with this.
Yeah.
This is a part of Sabbath. Like,
They turned the day of rest into the day of rules.
exactly. And
No
it's
longer rest at all, is it?
exactly. And I think we can kind of do that with ministry, with work as well, is we forget that, okay, God defines the rules of Sabbath, but he also defines the rules of work as well. And to judge
And
like
working.
your,
Oh, sorry, you go.
sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right. You good?
I also think that expresses itself differently in different people.
Yeah.
And it's so hard.
And in different seasons of life too.
Exactly. Like, if God gave you your set of rules and then you went, hold up, Emerson, what are you doing on like Tuesday and Wednesday? That's not what I do. Like, do you know what I mean? It's stupid and it's pointless, especially because that's not going to get me anything more of, you know, our reward at the end. Like, that doesn't get me more connections with God, with other people, with, you know, all of the things that he would give us as reward.
Yeah, I'm going to go somewhere else, but I just wanted to insert this in here that I like to think of Sabbath as the great equalizer, right? Because it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how much you achieved on the other 6 days. It doesn't matter what social status you have. It doesn't matter how many friends you have. Everyone gets the same 24 hours of Sabbath. It's something that there is a dignity to that it doesn't, it's not like, you know, in the like medieval church system where, or even in the ancient Jewish system where you have to physically go to a place, that the temple, or to see a priest or whatever, in order to be spiritually in a place where you're in proximity to God. God comes to you. It's not our effort to go to him. It's his time coming to us each week. And I think that when we realize that, there is that equalization that occurs. The other thing that I wanted to say is I think one of, I don't know if it's the only or the best, but I think a good passage of scripture that examines this a little bit is in Luke chapter 10. Luke chapter 10 from verse 38, it says, now it happened as they went that there was to a certain village, there was a certain woman named Martha, and she welcomed him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, who also sat at Jesus' feet and heard his word. But Martha was distracted with much serving, and she approached him and said, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Therefore, tell her to help me. And Jesus answered and said to her, Martha, Martha, you are worried and troubled about many things, but one thing is needed. And Mary has chosen that good part, which will not be taken away from her. So, like,
God's measures of success. I'm telling you,
priorities, right? Priorities. And so God is not saying don't be busy. He's not saying don't be productive. He is saying have your priorities straight. And there is a natural rhythm to the way that God designed us to work. He set it up in Eden. That yes, Adam, go work. Here is an assignment for you. Go and name all the animals, right? Like, here is work to do, but there is a time for rest. Do that, we'll spend time together, and then you can go and work again. There is the rhythm. And so here, Mary and Martha are the examples of the extremes here, right? So Mary understood that she was in the part of the rhythm where the rest occurred, right? Like, to do the important thing. Listen to Jesus. You know, he's here. It's a finite time. The food will be, if the food's half an hour late, but I got to hear Jesus, I'm going to hear Jesus, right? Like that's the priority. And I think...
Yeah, and in the Garden of Eden, what Jesus would come and visit them in the evenings, right?
Yeah.
So were they supposed to be working when Jesus came to visit? No.
No, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Did you kick the bucket, Steve? Is that what that sound was?
I forgot to change the camera, and then I was trying to rotate the wrong way around the table.
Do you have something you want to share? You got your Bible open?
I was just very normal.
Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to point out in here is that Jesus wasn't angry at Martha. He's not like, yeah, what do you like? Mary's right.
Yeah.
He the way he responded to her, Martha, Martha, you're worried about so many things. He empathized with her. He could see through her eyes that what she was doing was important, and I, as somebody who, I'm more Martha than I am Mary, like often when other people are enjoying things, I am preparing things so they can keep enjoying things. And I sometimes fall into this category of, I should have just left it alone. I should have just, chosen the more important thing. And I think basically any kind of busy, I think, can be answered by appropriate priorities.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it boils down to.
I think it's like more on what you said. He empathized with her.
Yeah.
Like that moment's so beautiful. Me growing up in church, that was not how the story was told. It was told in a like, Jesus went, hold up, actually you're wrong, which is not
That's
what
not how it
happened
reads.
at all. It was him going, okay, that also needed to be done. So I see where you're coming from, but put some respect on her though.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't be angry at Mary.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because she is also looking at things and making a choice about what's more important. You're not the only person who's trying to do that.
Yeah.
So it was like him also mediating between them to save their sisterhood, not
Yeah, that's right.
destroy it,
Yeah.
Because it was so like, I don't know, like tension, like the way that people would
could feel it.
preach about
Like
it.
you're both
Yeah.
right. You're both right to be doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Have mercy upon each other.
That's right.
it's
Relax.
beautiful. Like Jesus understands where we're coming from
Yeah.
and he guides us one way or the other. It's not always like, oh, you're doing the wrong thing. Because I remember reading that and listening to that in church and being like, okay, but if I'm Martha, does that mean I'm in the wrong? And technically what she's doing isn't wrong. So does that mean that I could possibly be wrong without me realizing it? Like it's stressful. But that's not what Jesus is saying. And I think now I'm going somewhere else. But if you read the
It's a good
Bible,
Yeah.
if you read the Bible in the context of the Jesus that you know, it makes so much more sense.
Mm-hmm.
And now that have a really good established relationship with Christ, which happened much earlier, by the way, not recent, but and that's just to say that it doesn't take you 20 something years to do. Like you can do it like that, but you probably already have it if you don't realize it yet. But yeah, I think it's really cool realizing okay, so church back then, those people who were teaching me, they just didn't know Jesus properly.
Yeah.
They're not wrong either. Like we can see where they're coming from.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Do you guys, so if busy is a drug, right, it's something that we're using to self-medicate to make us feel worthy or worth something in somehow, or it is just a habit that we've got into, like whatever the reason the busyness devolves upon us, how do we get off that drug? Like what is I mean, I know I said before, I think priorities carry a big part of that, but how do we assign those priorities? What should those priorities look like? Just to make this practical.
I'm sorry, I was reading the Bible. What was the question? I did not mean that to
I love
come
that.
across-
Sorry, I was reading the Bible.
I didn't mean that to come across condescending at all.
Like,
No.
Luke, what are you doing? I was reading the Bible, and you're
No,
calling my
I
attention to
was
something
reading
else.
Something, and then I realized that you asked a question, and I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I
No, that's
apologize.
totally fine. Yes.
Something about priorities?
Yeah, it was.
I was
sort
half
of.
listening.
My
but
question
not.
was, okay, if busy is a drug and we want to get off that drug, regardless of the reason that has come into our life, like what does that look like? How do we make this practical? What are we saying? Okay, as a result of thinking through, you should then go and do this, or how do we approach that?
No, I think it's very simple. You prioritize your relationships. First, you prioritize your relationship with God, then with your family, then with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can build your relationships then you can build your wealth.
Mhm.
Because that's I've mentioned this so many times on the podcast, but that's the structure of the 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
It's number 1 is love of God. Number 2, love of family. Number 3, love of friends. And
Things.
lastly, love of things. Right?
Yep.
It's funny for
And
me.
Sorry.
No, keep going, keep going.
When we work, we're almost always working for things for the purpose of our family. At least you and I, you know, we've got kids. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not sorry. I'm good.
You're glad you don't have kids. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Not like you were just working for yourself. No, that's not what I meant. But yeah.
I've got a family too. You know? I've got to have a mum and dad too.
Yeah, no. That's not what I was saying. is what I'm
Keep
saying.
talking, man.
That's
Stop
totally
addressing
throwing
me.
off.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, I've lost it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, it's my fault. No yours at all.
You were talking about
Priorities.
you work for your family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I often struggle to prioritize God over my family.
Yes.
That's a really big struggle for me.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, I need to work hard for my family,
Mm-hmm.
so that my family is happy and secure and
Mm-hmm.
safe. You know.
Yep.
But and then neglecting to work on my relationship with God. And even sometimes my relationship with my family, but I definitely, I don't know. It is hard. It's a good question.
All valid
And it
points.
makes you think about how you're running your life.
Mm.
Because I think I need to spend more time with God, then time with my family, then time
Mm-hmm.
keeping things running smoothly.
Yeah, I feel the balance there because from where I'm sitting, like those 3 buckets are very much the way my life is. I'm already like, I don't have enough time to get the work done that I need to do to look after my family in a week. And so if I'm going to put anything else into my week, like as in self-care kind of things like exercise or even relationship with God, like if I'm going to add anything into my life that's not already in my life, it has to come out of the work bucket, and the work bucket is already not big enough to hold the things that it needs to hold. And so it's like, well, you know, who am I robbing from, right? So it's like, I'm going to rob from my family, or am I going to rob from God, or
That's such a harsh way to look at it.
Yeah, but it's real. Like, how do you look at it any other way?
I think of it as God's directing where I put my thing
Yeah.
right now in this moment. My next, like if you're thinking of energy as a paycheck, my next paycheck, He's going to direct it. At the end, everything's going to be full. That's how I think of it. You're not robbing anything right now.
Yeah.
You're just on the journey of getting there.
Well, let me reframe it a little bit.
Can I say this?
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we doing here right now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are we doing this? This is
Yeah.
We're busy doing this podcast, and
This
all
is-
of us are busy doing this.
This is spiritually
now,
filling us and hopefully other people too.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. But to your point, I could be at home right now with my family.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I could be home reading the Bible
Mm-hmm.
to myself or to my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So why am I doing this? Because
God directed it, right?
exactly. And this is where I'm balancing out both of your points.
Yes.
Is you're saying, that is robbing time from my family. And you're saying, but God led me here.
Yeah.
And so this is all part of the plan.
Yeah.
And
Both can be true, is what
Both
you're
are
saying.
true.
Right.
Both are true.
Yeah.
What you said was
and
true.
I
too.
could see it very possibly happening that in the future when my kids grow up and they go, oh, Dad spent a lot of time, you know, involved in this ministry because he cares about God and he cares about people.
Yeah.
And that could be beneficial to them still.
Yes.
I think me
So it's all
saying
part of God's plan.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And I do think that you have to look at it in an integrated way, right? Like you can't. It's not a zero-sum game where someone has to win and someone has to lose. You are right. That was probably not the best way to frame it.
No, but here's the thing. The reason why I said it's so harsh is because that was me kicking in with that's so sad. Like I want to take something off of you as someone who doesn't have children and like your family to me. So I'm watching you work your ass off so that you can like, you know, the kids are good, the business is good. Like, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm constantly watching you go, you know, run around and thinking, like trying to interject this crazy little thing and be like,
So
where can I
much to
jump
think
in? Like, do you know what I mean?
There's
Yeah.
so much to think about.
For you, it is like, for you, it does feel like a harsh rob situation a lot of the time. I know that must be.
But
that
it
way.
does, yeah. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make this like about my experience.
You
But
didn't.
this
That
feels
was my bad.
This feels really weird now.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I never want it to look like, oh, look at me, I'm doing these things. That's not the point. And my life's hard because it's
You
not.
didn't do that.
No. But my point is, I am grateful for my life. But what I think that this is really highlighting the previous point, that priorities have to be that's the core of how we fix the problem, right?
Yeah, for
because
sure.
it doesn't matter how overburdened your life is. You could be, you know, the president of a country where like everybody is relying on you, which would be horrible.
That'd be the worst.
Yeah, that would be the worst. Like, but that it doesn't matter. My point
Unless
is,
you enjoy it.
there are psychopaths in the world. But if you,
Running
All good
countries.
people.
yes, running countries. But yeah, I guess the point that I'm making is it doesn't actually matter how overloaded you are. At the end of the day, it's always still going to be a priorities game.
That's right.
I actually, like, you guys were relating on the fact that there's 3 buckets,
Yeah.
right? For me, there's more than 3 buckets because I don't have kids. Everything changes. Like, especially for Gen Z right now, we don't follow the linear thing of school, uni, work, family somewhere along the track. Work, die, which you guys aren't following to the letter either. You guys started that.
It certainly seems that way.
Yeah. But you guys are like both young people,
Young-ish, that's fine.
ish people.
Why, thank
But
you.
you start.
It's Emerson's
guys-
birthday today, by the way. So
Yeah.
hey, happy birthday.
You guys became dads young.
Yeah.
So, like, a lot of the part that Gen Z are stretching out, you guys didn't have.
Yep.
And I think for me, at least in my experience, I won't speak for absolutely everyone, but I know a lot of friends of mine who share the same experience of, like, their number one thing is that they want to, like, that they wish could be the forefront, but often is drowned out by other things, is healing. Because we see the patterns and the things that have happened before, and we want to change them, like generational curses and trauma and all of this stuff, where we go, okay, I don't want to just marry anyone for the sake of it. Like, and we're very cautious about that. Like there's a lot of us who are single. There's a lot of us without like relationships and all this stuff. Like there's a very high percentage of all of that. And for me, God has had to change the priorities constantly because I grew up with that as well, which I fundamentally, I feel like never moves, like God, family, friends. But for me, I over prioritized family for a big chunk of my life. And that sabotaged me in the way that I pursued that sabotaged my life to the level where I had to pull back and completely reevaluate. And because I had to reevaluate, I had to take focus completely off family for a second and trust that they're going to be all right and focus on, okay, where's Lily at though? What do we want to do? You know? And so I just wanted to speak to all the people who can relate to that because that also is valid and in a lot of ways feels much more unstable, much more like it's a different set of challenges. I won't say it's worse because we're not comparing, but it's chaotic. And also to all the people who are out there like breaking family, you know, their dad and the dad before them and you know what I mean? Their mum, the mum before them always did this thing. And now you guys are going, if I ever have a kid, I'm going to do this, you know, little things like that. I feel like we're all thinking about that stuff. It's exhausting work and like hats off to you guys. God is still leading. And those energy buckets, like I feel like for us works a lot more in the gray because it depends what we're healing from. It depends what direction God wants to pull us in. Right now, God is healing me in the busy. But previously, like just one little chapter backwards, he was healing me by going, okay, now priority 1 is you let other people love you. Stop trying to do everything yourself. Like things like that. That would be my directive. And then I would center my life around, okay, so the buckets of God,
That was your
family,
priority
friends,
right then, right?
Yeah, the buckets never move. But like, because that is my directive, I'm going, okay, this is where I'm putting the energy, and I'm just going to make sure that those relationships are still alive by the time this chapter is done, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's really beautiful to know that I think of God as my coach a lot of the time, like my sensei. He's my sensei. And like our days of work, that's me practicing what I'm doing. That's us training. And then our day of rest is, okay, you've done well. Next week, we're going to get back into it. And I think of it as little missions that he's sending me on. It makes me love the week, you know?
Yep.
Like, it's so much fun. I think that's a better picture of heaven than all the strings attached to the word work, which is more speaking to the strings that I see attached to the word work.
Yeah,
But
from your experience. Yeah.
yes, God, God can work in insane ways. It's really lovely that it's a personal relationship so that we can prioritize our energy better and be busy in the right ways.
I have a verse that I want to close on, but is there anything else that you guys wanted, anywhere else that you just wanted to go?
I wanted to close on.
Oh,
You do yours, Ollie, mine.
mine's a very simple one. So
Mine's very long.
okay, well, maybe I'll just drop mine in and you can take it home.
Okay.
How's that?
Well, if yours makes the point that mine's making, we'll finish it.
We'll see. So Psalm 46:10 is very simple. Be still and know that I am God. You know, there is a degree of stillness that's required, I think, to build the priorities. Whatever the priorities are, you need to stop long enough to let God tell you what they are. So, and I think that's an important like lead domino that you need to push over in this question.
Yep. That's good. Mine's a classic passage from Matthew chapter 6. He says, therefore I say to you, do not worry. And this verse is all about worry, right? This whole section is about worry. He says, do not worry about your life, what you will eat, what you will drink, nor about your body, what you will put on. Is not life more than food, and your body more than clothing? Look at the birds of the air. They neither sow nor reap, nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not of more value than they? Which of you, by worrying, can add 1 cubit to his stature? So why do you worry about clothing? Consider the lilies of the field. They grow. How they grow, they neither toil nor spin. And yet I say to you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Now if God so clothes the grass of the field, which today is and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, will he not much more clothe you, O you of little faith? Therefore do not worry, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or what shall we wear? For after all these things the Gentiles seek, for your heavenly Father knows that they need all these things. I'm probably going to leave it there. Oh, no, one last verse. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah.
Seeking the kingdom being still awesome.
Yep. Don't worry. Work, but don't worry.
Yeah. I love that. That's what a summary. Work,
Yep.
but don't worry.
That's cool.
Cool. Well, we will leave that there. Thank you guys for joining us for this episode. We are going to be I'm trying to do a better job of letting you guys know what the topic is the week that we're actually recording it. So if you have anything that you'd like to share, you can do that. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please share it with a friend, and we will see you guys next week for another episode.